I need my vitamin D.
Oh ho ho! Brothers of Gateway to Drillbit, you are invited to the sword fight of the century! The slashes, the clashes, the moves, the emotional ecstasy! Oh, and bring your own blade, please!
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is supposed to be a duel.
The generously accented note did not dictate how big our swords could be.
Fine with me. It's not the size of your sword or the speed of your swings or even the size of your sword. It's the skill with which you wield your...
I would like to meet the person who could stop a sword like this.
I might know someone.
Why aren't you dead?
Don the hat, cape, poofy shirt, and never say die attitude of... As she swashes, buckles, scuffles, and ruffles her way across 4 chapters of adventure, sword fights, kicking things, and more. No sword-wielding biped is safe from Adalia's swift moves and heroic nature, which tend to get her and her brother in more trouble than they're usually prepared for.
From what we can surmise, these 2 siblings are adventuring, rapier-wielding swordspeople who swear to protect their town from the evil things that might happen. Most of them caused by this specifically evil man, the Count Duke. Stop for a second and look at this man. There are no redeeming qualities about him. He was born for evil. He had absolutely no choice.
Because these 2 heroes tend to charge into danger without a plan, they usually find themselves in the middle of a firefight with nothing but their wits and cartoon physics to get them out.
This may be, in a completely serious voice now. Come on, Andy. The most cartoon video game you'll ever play. You see, in addition to stabbing and poking your enemies, there are a number of objects with different sets of physics and uses that will also come in handy, like barrels, lamps, cannons, tables, swinging ropes, other enemies. All of these and more will not only help you bonk enemies on their heads, but surprise them as well.
This is some of the most fun I've ever had kicking things in video games. Kicking things is second only to throwing things for best thing games lets you do, and this game has plenty of kicking.
Kicking? Oh, I want to do some kicking!
There are absolutely no serious situations in this game that are not immediately undercut by the combat and how silly it is, or the in-battle dialogue between Adalia and other characters. Some conversations are straight up references, others are puns, but on the whole, the battle dialogue is very enjoyable.
Luckily, in tight spots like this, I always manage to find a conveniently hidden exit.
Oh no, she found the conveniently hidden exit again!
Object combat is some of the most fun you can have in this game and will be how most of your fights occur. Kick things into enemies and eventually they'll all just fall down and quip at you from their defeated positions.
Where the game began to lose us was with the sword-based combat. Sometimes you'll be forced into battles without barrels, bobbers, buoys, or baddies to kick into each other. You'll have to rely on your sword and your quick reflexes. X is your attack button, and pressing it multiple times will execute a combo. Pressing Y will cause Adalia to pose for a moment. This is your parry. If an enemy attacks while she is in this pose, she can execute a riposte, after which you can press X to continue striking.
Unfortunately, you cannot parry all enemy attacks, easy as that would be. This had to get complicated at some point. Some enemies will have red attacks. These cannot be parried and must be dodged. Press B to dodge. None of this sounds difficult, but when bigger enemies begin to crowd you, or when you have to face multiple captains at once with attacks that are always red, then things can get difficult.
Group combat scenarios are some of the best combat this game offers, for the most part. When fielding multiple captains, the enhanced soldiers, and the duelists, the things you can kick and activate will only offer you so much relief as red attacks galore rip away the chunks of your health bar.
Then there are the bars, which you've probably noticed. The second enemies you meet and everyone after that all have guard meters.
Oh, great! Meters!
To whittle these down, you have to riposte and attack them until this breaks. You have to do this for every little orb they have over their HP bar. If you surprise enemies enough by being daring, cunning, and annoying, this orange indicator will appear, meaning they are no longer guarding. You can feel free to whittle down their meter.
What's this meter for then?
That is another type of guard meter. For this one, you must riposte and dodge enemy attacks without waiting too long between attacks. If you wait too long, the meter will fill back up and you'll have to start whittling again. Enhanced soldiers and certain boss characters have this.
It seems like the wacky, silly fun the game initially offered takes a pause during these boss fights as you desperately try to discern white attacks from unblockable red attacks on the fly. The go-lucky tone disappears, the kickable objects turn invisible. These are tests of your swashbuckling skill in one-on-one combat and may take you a few tries to figure out. You know, because the game set you up with all of these dumb few-hit bad guys and all the barrels you can kick for every other battle in the game.
But it's not bad. Not exactly fun, but not bad. It's tight, well-designed, and fluid. I did not enjoy these fights in any way because I couldn't read the attacks quick enough. Fortunately, in most cases, you can break attack combos to dodge or parry quickly if you read an attack in time.
This is obviously your HP meter. You can take as many hits as there are chunks of green. Now to this meter, this is your special attack meter, and it will fill as you perform stunts and fight enemies. You get a super pokey stab, a spin attack, and an extra powerful kick. Each of these are intended to diminish the other meters we discussed.
Another great way to open enemies up for attacks is to annoy them. Vault over boxes and barrels, kick tables, swing on ropes. Enemies will back away with an exclamation point over their heads. In most cases, they will not attack while this indicator is present. From here, kick them, knock them down, annoy them more. Do it enough and the orange unguarding indicator appears, or they'll just sit down and take a breather while they wait for you to defeat them like good comedic underlings.
Let's zoom out from combat for a bit and focus on what connects you to each slappy meal. Platforming. Between each fight, you have a little platforming section, usually used as a vehicle for Adalia to find a lever or switch or something. Or any of the hidden secrets. You'll run down long hallways, you'll bounce off of fishing nets, and you'll pull levers. There isn't much variety, because most of that went into the combat and objects you can interact with.
But what connects these short platforming sequences and cartoony fights between Adalia and several uncoordinated enemies? The story!
The story in En Garde will allow you to play through 4 parts called episodes. The first episode introduces us to the main characters of the game. Adalia, her this masked handsome gentleman, and the Count Duke. The episode ends after Adalia runs through several alleys, fights a bunch of enemies, and defeats her this chiseled jaw of a swordsman.
The next episode finds Adalia in jail for crimes she both did and did not commit. You'll swing across gaps, jump over water, and fight dudes until you come to a final clash with the Count Duke. Unfortunately, like any cartoon villain, the final hit is never struck and he gets away to cause more havoc.
The third episode, probably the best one, follows Adalia on her daring adventure to rescue all the keys in the city from the Count Duke. He passed a law that claimed all keys, and wow, that is evil. Yeah, let's go swashbuckle his swindling ways. Anyway, this episode also introduces Zaida, who is definitely 100% not a distraction to Adalia's rescue efforts in any way, and absolutely will not use her wiles to betray Adalia down the line. Nope, couldn't possibly. This episode ends in a clash with Zaida over the keys she stole from the Count Duke. No one saw this coming!
The final episode follows Adalia, Zaida, and Adalia's brother.
He means this carrot of a heroic man.
Sure. As they try to find the Count Duke one final time after he hoarded all the tax money he collected to share with his henchmen and companions. This is a fairly fun level and exercises everything you've learned thus far. Unfortunately, it recycles everything. Every boss fight, every duel, and even the final fight from Chapter 2. Just kind of feels like a boss rush mode with everything in the game.
Then the final bit ends in an end of Mario game reveal that the villain got away, all of his minions went with him, and are gonna plan their next evil scheme. Then the arena mode unlocks.
Then you will beat En Garde. You can go back through each level in search of secrets, but those are more for Steam achievements as far as I could tell.
En Garde is a good game. The combat, even in group battles where cartoon physics rule all, is fluid, tight, and well designed. Character conversations are never boring. Platforming is easy to complete and follow. The story is very much Saturday morning cartoon, with the villain always being foiled but escaping to cause more unrest. Finally, and most importantly, it's short.
Yes, beyond the boss battles that boil down to hope you press the right button in time, and attempting and failing to defeat several enhanced soldiers at once, this game is short. In under 6 hours, you'll have completed this good, well-designed, highly recommended, short game. Oh, some of the physics get wonky sometimes too.
That just adds to the hilarity.
Thank you for watching our review of En Garde. We highly recommend checking it out. What did you think of the game or the review? Let us know in the comments. Alright, be sure to share this around and subscribe. And now we must take our leave to duel again. Surprise attack!
Why did he do that? I still have the really big sword. Alright, bye everyone.